Well, hopefully that's everything up and running and working as it should do. I have no idea if it is or not, but let me know if you can hear me. It's been a few weeks since I've been around. It's been a very, very busy few weeks here, so hopefully everything's running all right. Lighting's working, all that good stuff. So yeah, let me know if that's all working all right in the background and things. Feathers, hello, good to see you, buddy. How's things? Good. That seems to be working all right. That's encouraging. Okay, so what I'm thinking of doing today is there's a couple of things I want to look at. The title's not clickbait. Although I might have been drinking some of Execute's Kool-Aid, the title is not clickbait. You'll have to forgive all this, by the way. Summer has hit in the UK. This is just hay fever central. It's just ugh. So yeah, I'm just streaming and ugly and awful, and it's just not. Yeah, it's not a pretty picture. I get that. It's not great to begin with. The hay fever makes it worse. I understand. But yeah. It's been crazy. AV, Double Dog, Pilgrim, and Stackagord. Good to see you guys. Thank you very much for joining us. There's a whole roundup of stuff that I want to get into and have a look at, which is going to be exciting. Not least of all will be, I'm sure, something that you guys have done to death anyway, but I wanted to have a look at it. Because I was realising, as I was putting all this together this evening, I haven't seen the Starfield trailer yet. So, even if you guys have done it lots and lots and lots, it'd be really cool if you could kind of hang around and, to let me know what you thought of it after I've seen it and had a look. But, yeah, I haven't seen it. So, let's do that. And the Citizencon / Squadron 42. I don't have any more information that is publicly available, but there's a couple of things that are just making me think. So we will come on to that a little bit later and see what you guys are reckoning. So who we got? Invictus Praetorian, hello. Hello, thank you for joining the stream. Glad you could join us. Feathers is excited for Starfield. So am I. Right. Here's my first question: Starfield beginner packs, or the pre-orders. If you've pre-ordered, what did you go for? I'm really interested to know what everyone went for. Did anyone go crazy and go for the watch packaged thing, the Constellation package, or whatever it is? Double Dog says, same with me for the summer stuff. I live at 3,000 feet. So just got above 80 here, and the allergies are killing me. Dude, that's rough. That's, yeah. That's not fun. It's been 28 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is. Hey, let's Google it. I've got the computer right here, right? So, 28 degrees in Fahrenheit. So, I mean, it's not much. It's only 82 here as well, right? But for the UK, that's pretty damn warm. So yeah, that's when we're all going. Yeah, this is basically we go around, we sweat a lot, we still do stuff in the midday sun, bizarrely, and then we just whinge at each other for an entire week about how warm it is, and how we're not enjoying the sun, the heat, apart from endless barbecues. And I've got to say, I'm all for the endless barbecues. But let's have a quick look at what's available on Starfield. Oi, you're warmer than I am in Spain. Yeah, dude, it's been ridiculous hot, and it's been kind of sustained for about 2 weeks. So we start off a lot warmer and we end a lot warmer. I don't think I've closed the upstairs windows to my house, for about a month. But it's just changed. So today we've had cloud, temperature's come down a bit. So if there's suddenly the sounds of an explosion, it's okay. It's just a summer storm, and I'll go and close the window. But let me know if that if that happens. Cool. Yeah, humidity. Do you know what? Humidity is something we don't do too badly on over here. But I'm just going to... Let's have a look. So what do you guys think? We've got... Pilgrim said he went for the premium edition. Monster Over, he said the regular with the next paycheck. Kind of uncertain on the watch. So there's your regular. And then you get the old Mars skin packing game with the laser cutter, the deep mining helmet, and the deep mining pack. And the Starfield base game. Then the digital premium gets you, you know, kind of smattering of the obvious. Premium edition upgrade. So that just takes you from normal to, upgrade from standard. Okay, great, fine. And then there's the, oh my god, WTF. I mean, yeah, I really like it. The problem with it is it's $300, which is just ridiculous. Who would pay $300 for a computer game, eh? Who would do such a thing? That's just weird. Oh no, wait, that would be... Yeah. So, Pilgrim says, in Belgium we had the first day below 30 degrees C in 2 weeks. Mate, that is rough. That's really, really rough. Where have I been in Belgium? I've been to Ypres. I did the Meningate memorial. We did the parade there at the Meningate in Ypres, if you know what I'm talking about. When I was a cadet, and absolutely loved it. Very, very auspicious occasion, but we spent a week over there as cadets travelling around and seeing all that sort of stuff. And yeah, beautiful country. Wish I lived there when I was riding my bike, as opposed to here. Dusty just wants the controller. Yep, the controller looks really nice, actually. And I will try Starfield on Game Pass, but it does not look a game for me. Yeah, it's a bit of a shame, but I can understand why some people would be like, nah, it's not my thing. Yeah, we'll see, because it seems to keep going kind of out of stock, back in stock, out of stock, back in stock, and we'll see how long that runs. If it continues to run up to release, then I might consider getting this one. But like you, Stacker, I've got Game Pass as well. But yeah. Although Game Pass, I don't think you get the early, do you? Yeah, so you play Starfield day one rather than getting the 5 days early access with any of the other editions. But yeah. Stunner, hello mate. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. We're just talking a little bit about Starfield. And this is the control. Right, yeah, I can see why you'd like that. Very cool. Yeah, really, really nice. And I tell you what, it's silly as far as I'm concerned, but I really like that credit stick with laser etched game code. That ticks boxes for me. But yeah. Yeah, and controls on it as well, is it? Let's have a look. Shut the controller. Oh, very cool. Sorry, my honey add-on has suddenly decided that it wants to be part of this stream. I'm not sponsored or anything. It just did it. Okay. So, given the fact that I'm back to work tomorrow, unfortunately, the stream is not sponsored by Brewdog today. It is sponsored by Diet Coke. I don't know how well that's coming through, but yeah. So, oops. Or not sponsored by Diet Coke. But yeah, I'll take a Brewdog sponsorship. Brewdog, if anyone's listening, I'll do that. I'll sponsor for you. Okay. Yeah, that's a really nice idea, and it kind of gives you. I like that it's giving us a hint as to what's coming as well. So you've got the whole power distribution, throttles. Yeah, that's cool. And it kind of, it still looks technical enough to make it feel like a very, very technical game. I'm being a bit mean to controllers, but, I do feel like they are somewhat limiting in their application. But yeah, very cool. Okie dokie. So, one of the things I wanted to look at, let's have a look while we've got a bunch of people on here and see what you guys think. Let's switch back to Star Citizen for just a little while. So we got this information on Citizencon 2953, and the big bit that stands out for me, and I don't know about stands out for you. Well, hello, Dusty. Good to see you. Just let me know. I mean, what was the standout for you on this? And see if it's the same obvious thing. Now, I think they've done this once before. I think Edison was telling me that this has happened once before to one of the Citizencons. But this, for me, has changed what this Citizencon is about, I think. I'm beginning to think it might not just be the normal PTU, here's a close look at Pyro, maybe 4.0. And it is, I don't know how long the delay is. I think you guys are about 10, 12 seconds behind where I am in the chat. But for this, it's that bit. It's the fact that it's 2 days. Now, I actually went online today to try and find one of Chris Roberts' recent posts on Spectrum, where he basically responded to someone, and he said it's a little bit unfair that marketing are getting all this flack. This wasn't marketing. I can't remember what the post was about. This wasn't marketing's fault. This was my fault. Blah 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 blah. And he basically goes through talk about whatever he was talking about, and he was talking about, I think, Citizencon again. And I've gone and looked, and his handle, his @ on the forums is at CRoberts68. And I've put that in the search, and nothing comes up. Not a single post appears. So if we go to here, if we go at CRoberts68, because that's what all the other ones seem to be. All right, they don't appear at all. His user doesn't even seem to be. So if I remove that, there you go, Christopher Roberts, CRoberts68. Click. Okay, so last year, what about all time? Why is he not in the forums? Like, why doesn't he exist anymore? I don't understand. This is weird. He should exist. He should at least be in the forums. Yeah, I think, so Monster Avy says upside is 2 days, which means they should have actual content to show, but the location is the issue. Yeah, the location is something else that's really interesting for me, is that it's LA and not, where was the previous one? Texas, where their actual studio is, right? LA is more of a showbiz location, because that's where a lot of these showbiz types live in the US. And I'm generalising massively, get that. But as a general rule, it's not a bad way to go. Now, none of this is directly pointing at Squadron 42. None of it at all. But when you tie together complete random change of location, also that we don't have any big ships released for this year. The biggest we've had is, the Storm's the biggest thing that they've released in size, and it's a ground vehicle. We didn't get anything for Alien Week, and even if it was going to be the Santoki Eye, they've already been selling it, so it wasn't exactly going to be, huge. And then there's this premium experience ticket, which I understand they may well have done in the past. But the fact that that extra thing is now they've released the price. That's $100 extra to the after party. Now, even if you're going to be a bit cynic and say, yeah, but CIG, because this is very expensive as a con goes, right? And there's something on Spectrum about that, comparing it to like other games. So I understand that, but the bit that I just think maybe they don't need to worry about the ships, because maybe it's all hands on deck, and maybe now they're expecting sales of the game packages for Squadron 42 to go through, because that's not necessarily just a backers thing. That's everyone who's waiting for Starfield. That's anyone who wants to play a space game. That's anyone that's been kind of sitting on the fence, but we'll see what it's like, sort of thing. It's just enough to make me think that maybe, just maybe, we are going to get 2 days of content. One dedicated to upcoming 4.0 pyro static server meshing, first time we can make jumps, and one that's dedicated to Squadron 42. Here's what it looks like, here's how it's going to play. We gave everyone a level to play at the event, with priority for those with the premium pass or whatever else, or they get a little bit of extra time afterwards at the after party to go and play around on it. And I mean, maybe even they do some sort of red ticket or red carpet style event where people like Mark Hamill come and hang out for a bit. I don't know, but any one of these things I would have gone nah. And bearing in mind, up until now, Shinobi, hello bud. PQ Knuckles, welcome. Yeah, so any one of these things, I would have gone no. No, they've gone for 2 days. Because the reason I wanted to get my hand on that post by Chris Roberts was I think he said something about the last physical one and the choices that people had to make because they had concurrent lectures or like presentations going on. So you had 2 rooms and you had to pick which one you wanted to be in. So if 2 of them clashed, you were stuck, sort of thing. And he was talking about how he was potentially going to do that, but then he was going to get a camera everywhere and just show everyone what they wanted. And if I was going to get hold of that, hopefully that would have given me a bit more information. I don't have that at the moment. If anyone finds it, by all means, link it in the chat. If anyone can find that while we're talking, and we'll have a closer look. But I think dates, location, lack of big releases in any form this year, in terms of ships, are all beginning to push me down the road of maybe at Citizencon we get told that 3, 6, 8 months, 9 months, whatever it is down the line is the release date for Squadron. It's really interesting. I don't know, because the flip side is up until right now, like the first part of this year, I was saying no, it doesn't really make sense, because if it is due out in the next, say, 12 months, that's not a huge amount of time that people have spent having moved over to the UK to get stuff working. When you factor in that they've had an office change, which is going to eat into their time massively. We were still at the back end of the pandemic when they moved across, so in the UK at least, they weren't allowed to congregate in the office as they were hoping to do. So it wasn't as easy as all that. They've had that time eaten into by a number of things. And that's why up until now I've been very much, no, I'm not expecting Squadron 42 this year. This is just, it's weird. It's enough to stop me. And it's really annoying because I really looked at the beginning of this year going and, doing the overtime and stuff to get myself there. Unfortunately, right now, I don't have the time because to try and do overtime on top of a 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, to the extent I basically wouldn't have any weekends ever again. between now basically and Citizencon pretty much. So going there isn't going to be possible, which is going to suck if this is what I think it might be. But we'll do some sort of watch party. And for those in the UK, if I have any UK watchers on at the minute, because I know most of my audience are US based, but if there are those in the UK, how does a bar citizen on the weekend of Citizencon sound in Manchester, so we can throw the invite open to those from the Manchester studio who are, stuck here, to get them to come across, and we'll see if we can get a room together. That actually there's going to be like a quieter room where we have it projected on the wall and we have it up, and then you'll just have the bar area where you can go and chat, if you don't want to go and watch the presentations. But let me know what you think, because I think it would be quite cool to get those streamers from the UK and from around Europe, if they want to, that aren't going across, to come and join us in Manchester in September. But let us know what you think. It'd be kind of cool to reach out and meet some of you guys in real life and have a beer or seven. Notorious, hello buddy, good to see you. So I think that's where it is. I think the chance that Squadron is released this year, we get a release date for Squadron this year, I think the chances of that have just ticked up a fair few points. I wouldn't be betting against it quite as heavily now. Beginning of the year, I would have put the house on. No, that's not going to happen. Right now, no. Of course, the other side could be that they just don't want people to miss, that they feel like they've got enough content to fill a day and 2 stages, which is what they did at 2949, because I was there. And they had, ships going on at once, and then they had the prisons presentation, and they had the, choose the next ship, and there was enough going on that I didn't go to the ship presentation. That's how much was going on at the time. So, yeah, I think that's likely to be what's happened. So Senna says, obviously you're not alone in what you're thinking, and CIG knows it, knows their community. Therefore, sorry mate, your text just disappeared. Stop it. They need to start downplaying or controlling expectations if there is nothing big coming. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, this is entirely us. This is entirely kind of community / creator driven hype. But I mean, when that ticket, even the normal ticket, is twice the cost of the one that it was for Manchester in 2019, I suppose you could argue that makes sense, because you've got the venue for 2 days instead of 1, so twice the time, twice the cost. Yeah, I think the bit that doesn't gel for me at the moment is the money of the extra party at the end. Is this, they said extremely limited upgrade to the premium experience. I don't know, maybe it's more comfortable seats. I don't know, but it's got to be something fairly substantial or fairly exclusive to justify that extra $100 that they're charging, which is this bit here, right? So Xylo's confirmed this. This is, and it's not a repeat, because it says both tickets will grant full 2-day access. So they believe there's enough to justify 2 days of presentation. But it's an interesting one. Or just a poll in chat right now. Who would say that? I mean, I could do it on the whole polling thing, but I'll have to muck around with this just for a second. Let's have a look. And just while I'm doing this, if you are enjoying this, if you're finding this stuff useful, then, by all means, feel free to drop a like, whack a comment in if you want to, any of that sort of stuff, just to help drive it in the algorithm. Yeah, I'm not going to muck around with it in a minute because all I'm going to do is break it. Um, but let's have a look. Start a poll. Here we go. All right. Poll. Do you think Squadron 42 release date is likely at Citizencon this year? Let's have a go. I didn't check the spelling on that at all, so I apologise if that looks like absolute trash. But let's see what we think. Yeah, I like that. So Pilgrim says, the upcoming release of Starfield will sure have put some extra pressure on SC to pick up the speed and have something to show off. Monster says, custom hotels isn't going to be fun there, but might be an opportunity to ask drunk Chris Roberts all the rest questions. Absolutely. Yeah, we need better alcohol. Agreed. $300 not including travel to listen to them say nothing about the bad emergement for an hour and 30 minutes. Stacker says, didn't someone at CIG said they pulled Squadron 42 and that Chris was giving things a think after the Starfield update? Not that I've heard, and I think that would have made larger waves in the community. I know X did his normal clickbait on "Is it the end for Squadron 42" title, which generated a lot of views, but I also think generated a lot of comments about clickbait. I don't know. I kind of hope they don't get rid of it. For reasons that I'll go into in a bit. PQ Knuckles says, do you think CIG should hold even more back releasing stuff because of Starfield? No, I really hope that that CIG looked at Starfield and went, that's really cool. Let's see if we can do some of that in exactly the same way as that I hope Starfield looked at Squadron 42 and Star Citizen and went, that's really cool. Let's see if we can do some of that. I mean, for me, Squadron 42 and Starfield are two completely different games. Squadron 42 is not meant to be open realm like that. You can tell because it's coming in chapters, right? It's not the open world idea that Skyrim or Fallout or any of those sorts of games were. It's just not. It's not attempting to be that. It's more traditional in the terms of being like Freelancer and Wing Commander were, which is you are being driven through a set of events rather than you're affecting the world. But you know, and you know, Squadron 42 and Starfield again, you know, both are single player at the moment. But that's pretty much where the kind of comparisons end, I think. Because it looks like in Starfield, you're not a combat pilot, not to start out with. You're going to choose your own path. You're going to decide which faction you join and who you back. Whereas you are military with Squadron 42. And the way they always talked about Squadron 42 and get this for a gimmick, the idea was you were going to have to complete Squadron 42 before you started Star Citizen. Now, they binned that. That doesn't exist anymore. But they had that very close to... basically, when they started selling Squadron 42 and Star Citizen as separate packages, they abandoned that idea. But the idea is you would complete Squadron 42 and then effectively muster out of your military service and then go on to do whatever it is you were going to do in the verse. And that was the story. But I think these games kind of really building off of each other. Because the last thing any of us want, we don't want Starfield to look like the red whatever it is, the vampire game they did that's just completely tanked as of the last few weeks. The Left 4 Dead style vampire game. It went nowhere, right? And if games can, because competition is supposed to be this, they're supposed to be driving innovation. That's the whole point of having an open market, is that people look at Starfield and go, God, we've got to up our game to compete with that. And Starfield, back when they looked at doing it, going, right, we're going to go into a market with Elite Dangerous, with EVE, with Star Citizen. That's the level we need to compete at. And, people constantly playing. The last thing you need is what happened to No Man's Sky at the beginning, where the investors just went, release it, it'll be fine, you'll make loads of money, look at all the other people. And funny enough, they made loads of money, and then everyone got really unhappy with it really quickly. And it's only because that studio, Hello Games, has spent so long working to because they had no other project. This isn't Cyberpunk and, CD Projekt Red. If CD Projekt Red, if Cyberpunk had been their first franchise, I think they would have done what Hello Games has done, which is they would have slogged at Cyberpunk for years and years and years to get it to where it should have been, and then it would have been this amazing game that we were all waiting for. Because that's what Hello Games did. Hello Games didn't have another game to fall back on. CIG don't have another game to fall back on. If Starfield tanks massively, and I really hope it doesn't, but there are other games in Bethesda's library to fall back on. Whereas I suppose you could make the argument we could abandon Squadron 42 for Star Citizen, the MMO, and I know there's a lot of people that want that to happen. There's a lot of people that want Squadron 42 to be ignored. But I think it's going to be a useful stepping stone, especially for people who are coming fresh into the verse. We are all the in crowd, as I like to think about it. We are going to learn all of the systems as they come out, with 3, 6, 9, 12 months between each. It's going to be easy for us to learn the game, because even if you don't want to be a miner, when they brought the mining loop in, people had a go just to see what it was like. Salvage, everyone's had a go just to see what it's like, whether or not they intend to go salvaging or not. When data running, when hacking, when warfare, when bounty hunting, when actual exploration and jump point mapping and all that, we're all going to have a go at it. So when the game releases, we're almost going to miss how bloody complicated this game is. Because, take a game like Arma 3. It's a milsim with a ridiculous amount of controls. That is still a game. To heal people, you run up to them, you hold spacebar. You watch the wheel go round in the middle of the screen and they're healed. And that is seen as a game with a massive learning curve. So the nice thing about something like Squadron 42 is people play it, they get that driven experience, they don't have to go looking for story, it's forced through their eyeballs. And then once they've finished playing it through, they go into the verse with an understanding of all their power management, repairing their systems, moving around ships, all the base controls, requesting permission to land and take off, understanding HABs, realising that just look out because there will be signs pointing you to where you want to go. They come into the game with all that, and it's a far easier transition. It's like, when was the last time you tried to pick up EVE? For those of us that aren't EVE players and we've given it a go, and you just sit there and go, yeah, okay, and then you play something else. Star Citizen's going to be very similar to that. When you think of mining, isn't shift right click in WoW and then the mining materials appear in your bag. Ta-da! Mining can kill you in Star Citizen. It's a ridiculous level of depth, right? And so, catching up with some of the comments then. Monster Avy says, I certainly hope they at least have a date. Will say Starfield isn't a direct competitor, but it will hopefully put some pressure on them to get some news out there. Absolutely. I want both to do well. Really want more good sci-fi games. Yep, exactly that. Bethesda needs to do okay, but then the mods do make the games great. Yeah. But maybe, there was a competition, or not a competition, it was a line in a magazine in the UK called PC Gamer, I think it's in most countries now. And it said one line game reviews, and the review for Skyrim was just mod it till it breaks. Maybe Starfield will be that second version of that. Manchester, I think more people will come from Starfield to SC because they want the next sci-fi game. They want the next step in sci-fi, being the PU. Rick, hello Rick, good to see you. Says, get ready to pay for episodes and possibly seasons. What would a concierge member get access to? Yeah, so we know that there's going to be Squadron 42's coming in 3 parts. I think, I don't know if concierge is going to play to anything within Squadron 42. And the reason that I say that is because concierge has nothing to do with Squadron 42, as it were. So the ships you buy are the PU. The armour that you buy, PU. The events that you go to, like this, will count towards you. If you buy a Citizencon ticket, will count towards the amount of money you've spent on the game. So if you're at $700, you buy the premium ticket, congrats, you're $1 off being concierge. And I think that's going to have, if anything, more to do with Star Citizen than Squadron 42. I might be wrong, but the only way I understand to get concierge with Squadron 42 is just to buy enough Squadron 42 copies of the game to get you over that grand, if that makes sense. Maybe you'll get some cosmetics and stuff to carry across, I don't know, but I don't think it's going to be anything significantly substantial. Although, I mean, having said that, so they did a little while ago, and someone's going to correct me in chat, and please do. Hey, Macho, good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. How you doing, buddy? Thank you very much for joining. Someone in chat's going to correct me, but I think for those that were concierge a little while back, if you had game packs, you were gifted another game pack so that you could melt the ones that you had and use them for ships. So you were gifted a Squadron 42 and a Star Citizen game package, if I'm right. But yeah, I think that's what happened. So I think that's kind of happened for some of us, and whether that happens again, I don't know. But where are we with? This is the fun bit now, because now I've got to figure out what's gone on with the. Oh, we've gone 61% yes in the poll. So we are 61% believe yes. 39% say no. Do you know what? I'm going to leave that going for the entire time and see, so that anyone else that joins us can come in and have a go. But while we're talking and while we're doing... hey, Asher. Good to see you, buddy. Thank you very much for popping in. Also, if you are wanting to chat and stuff, my Discord is quite quiet at the moment. So my Discord... and Drinkers with Gaming Problems started as a group of in-real-life friends, and we went to LAN parties, and we would always find out after a game released and we'd been playing for a while that everyone was playing it, and I was like, well, hey, let's just put a Discord together, and that's where Drinkers with Gaming Problems came from. So that's the majority of people in there at the moment, but that is slowly being taken over as the community Discord, and there is actually going to be a path to be a DGP member, which involves obviously coming to come out to attend a real life event with us. But the idea is that it's a home for everyone. So in the description, there is a link to the Discord. If you want to come in and join, it's an open link. Anyone can come in, sling me a message in there. I'll make sure you've got the right roles. But I often hang out in there, and if you want to come in and just chat, you are more than welcome. And, you know, it might even be that while we're playing, we get a group of us together. Certainly will be in there when the Perseus comes out. But you are more than welcome. And if you want to come in through that way, then please do. Yeah, so Avi says, yeah, if it was before a certain date, you got both. Now it's just a PU game pack. Gotcha. Yeah. Yes, that's right, because they sold PU and Squadron 42 together, and now it's that. So Pilgrim says, when completing Squadron 42 on hard, you'll get an F8C Lightning to play with an SC. Yes, I understand that that's still the plan. But yes, there are going to be certain things that will carry over from Squadron into the PE. Tristan Diego, thanks for joining us, buddy. Regarding the poll, I want yes, but I think no. I think that might be where I am, but there's just a few things that have happened, and I think, you know, it's looking more likely than it was a little while ago. So, what I just want to do whilst we are here is I'm just going to knock some of these volumes down. Let's go and have a look at the Starfield official gameplay trailer, which I haven't seen yet. Let's go and have a react to that. And then, because we're talking about the 2 now anyway, let's have a look. I will bump the volume for you. Let's have a quick look.
Humanity has always hunted for knowledge in the unknown. The wonder is, not that the field of stars is so vast, but that we have measured it. We're all here because we're committed to the biggest question of all. What's out there? You're part of Constellation now. Part of our family.
We do not fully understand all that is at work here.
No finer group in the stars to be unraveling this mystery.
I'll follow you from here on out, Captain.
Grab jump is ready. I love this part.
These artifacts could be everything we've been looking for. Another great secret the universe is asking us to unravel.
Human settlements throughout the galaxy could be at risk.
We are not stopping. Whatever lies at the end of this road will change humanity forever. This is where we belong.
And that's not me becoming emotional at the end of that, I promise. That's just me kind of, yeah. That's really something. What I like about it is that they've gone back. When they showed some of the gameplay trailer, I think about a year ago, 18 months, it looked like it was massively combat-based. And what I really liked about the initial reveal trailer, like the teaser trailer for Constellation, it was all switches and gadgets and gizmos and worrying about getting your ship off the planet in one piece. Kind of like Drake, right? Just like, holy shit, if we make it to orbit, can I have success? But yeah, that whole... this looks a little bit more science-y again. And a little bit more astronaut-based. And yet you've got jetpack combat and space katana. Because, yes, space katana. I think I've just I've just seen the way that I'm going to play the entirety of that game was just like, I'm going to stab you with a space sword, just because. But yeah, phenomenal looking game. Very No Man's Sky when you saw that creature kind of silhouetted in the forest. You know, some of those were very Star Citizen, especially the internal shots. You know, the internal locations, people sitting at bars in their helmets and that sort of stuff. That looked very Star Citizen. But yeah, just hopefully, you know, I really hope Starfield carves out its own niche and becomes a series of games like The Elder Scrolls, like Fallout. Because who doesn't want more top quality space exploration games with the promise of there being more? Because I think they, you know, when they first released this, it was, this is our new IP. This is the one of the things we're going to invest a lot of our time and energy in. You know, no complaint here. Do it. Just go, absolutely. Yeah, don't worry about the comparison. If there are similarities, we can draw them. But you know, right at the beginning of this match, just before you come online, one of the things we were saying is that the competition's only a good thing, drives people to do better. Hopefully they borrow a little. They look, you know, we could do that. That would be really nice in our game. Not copy, but you know, identify when another game does something well and mimic that. That's no problem at all. Yeah, I'm psyched, I have to admit. Ray Louderback, hello, said, any word on if Arena Commander is included in Squadron 42? That would be a huge plus for longevity. Yeah, I think so. I think it's going to be part of those launches. I think Arena Commander, Star Marine, and a lot of that are going to be in there. Hopefully, Theatres of War as well, and it will be like a little, hey, you wanna try some of this? From when people do Squadron 42 to go, well, now you've played the single player, here's you doing it with your buddies, in a universe that's, you know, hitherto, until Starfield, completely unrealised. But yeah, I compare Squadron 42 to Call of Duty Infinite Warfare and Starfield to Skyrim in space. Yeah, that's absolutely, Starfield is Skyrim in space. And Squadron 42, you know, like for like, is very advanced Wing Commander, Freelancer, Starlancer, what, you know, whatever, whichever those games you want to use as your example. It's probably going to be a little bit more constrictive than Freelancer even. But yeah, absolutely. Rick says, playing hard and I bet get a high score too. Fallout vibes in space. Starfield is the closest to Mass Effect. The only thing I don't like about a single player game, they'll make it into game as a service. I don't like that for any game though. Yeah, the content pass is a bit... What's the word I'm looking for? If there is... I didn't see a season pass on the thingy, but let's have a look. Where's the bundle stuff? Bear with me, there will be a slight pause. So, just looking at this one, it doesn't seem to say anything about season pass. It does say something about an expansion upon release, though, which is... But yeah, I mean, other than that, you know, hopefully it doesn't go down the route of season passes and stuff, because that'd just be miserable. We'll say this from the first trailer to this, the combat looks a little better and smoother. Yeah, I think the time that they spent to delay it has been time really, really well spent. So that's encouraging. Sorry, I'm just going to pop some music on the background. Let me know if that's too loud. But yeah, absolutely. That's certainly something there. Pop. There we go. Imagine microtransactions. That would be very bad. Yeah, do you know what? I don't see there being any reason for microtransactions in Starfield. Now, I do in Star Citizen, because if microtransactions are what stop us from having to pay a subscription fee for all the server back-end support, great success. If all we're buying is arms and armor and that sort of stuff, and stuff that has no real impact, then fine, whatever. Skins, yeah, great, doesn't bother me at the minute. But yeah, for a single player, I see no reason that they would have to do that. There's a 45-minute deep dive that has a really good info, but it's 45 minutes. Notorious, I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's have a look at that next week. Just because, we've got about, if I do that now, we've got about 20 minutes left. And I might not, depending on how it stays here, I might not be able to stay on the whole, for the whole 2 hours. I might need to pull out 10, 15 minutes early, but we'll see. Erical says, amazing what happens when a developer sticks to a schedule. I don't know. I haven't seen one yet this evening who has stuck to a schedule. So Starfield has been delayed twice officially, I think, so far. Possibly even 3 times. So this is what happens when I would change that to read, amazing what happens when a developer doesn't release a game before it's ready. Because Cyberpunk was delivered to schedule, and look how that went. Monster AV, yeah, they have DLC expansions before the game's out. Yeah, that's a bit rough. And I don't think you get that in standard, do you? Oh, no, you do. Oh, no, that's premium. Standard, no, you don't. Yeah, that's a bit pants. So, yeah, Fallout 76. Microtransactions. Proof is in the pudding, I suppose. Holy moly, you guys are chatting away. This is great. Pilgrim, no, I haven't seen the gameplay deep dive, but we will have a look, definitely. Lots of chat about the microtransactions and stuff. Yeah, I couldn't get into 76 either. It just wasn't my thing. For a free little taste, yeah, exactly that. Yeah. Just, hey kid, you tried this? I don't know. Yeah, absolutely. I just need something to bring me down. Arena Commander was originally included. No idea until they make it available, if it still is now. Yeah, so what I was going to say is that sort of stuff. I mean, you could even, there are going to be so many planets in the game, you could even have the free-to-play planet, in effect, where insert whatever sci-fi reason you want here, but people go to that planet and they fight as part of a free-to-play, and if they want to move away from that, then they buy the game. There's no reason you can't give away part of your universe as a here's what the rest of it looks like. Because what's really interesting even now is looking at people and looking at games, and I might be able to find it later when I go and have a look, but there was a games journalist who was saying about a new upcoming space game, obviously not Starfield, is doing this no loading screens thing. And it's really exciting. Been there, done that. So yeah. And this is part of the conversation about alpha and why it's taking so long. Is that pick any big game franchise of, any big game of the last 10 years, and then ask yourself, what about that game was brand new? What did they pioneer specifically for that game for its release? And the problem with this is that when you start to look, alright, Grand Theft Auto, as an example, if you look at Red Dead 2, it didn't really bring anything at Grand Theft Auto other than the setting. but you had, you know, missions that could go one way or the other depending on how you resolved them, which a lot of games have now. So that's not a new feature. It was new in the way they packaged it, but there was nothing in that game over and above, well, it had this graphical thing. Yeah, graphics don't count. When you look at what they're developing, any game will have one, maybe two features that have been brand new and developed for that game. So you've got a tried and tested formula, and then here's your game. I mean, look at the games that don't do that. You can name them on one hand. You can count them on one hand. No Man's Sky, that entirely procedurally generated setting, hasn't been done before. Look at Minecraft and how original that was when it came out. Doesn't matter whether you like it or not. It's just recognizing how, you know, the entire, everything was destructible all the way down to, you know, almost, you know, the bedrock of the planet, basically. Those sorts of things are pioneers. And look at, you know, Minecraft, certainly look at how much money that's made and how much that stands out as a thing. Star Citizen's doing the same thing. Yeah, it's you know, sorry, Star Citizen's doing the same thing in that Starfield is taking what made other Bethesda games great and pushing that into a space setting. But the idea that you choose a faction that you want to be part of, the idea that you develop relationships with NPCs, the idea that you, you know, have this huge sandbox to go play in, none of those are new. Same Star Citizen. What Star Citizen's given us that we haven't had before is we've had no loading screens. Its economy is entirely brand new. An entire economy that is run by both players and NPCs. Eve had player run, but someone's going to be maintaining this economy too. The idea of ships to the detail level that we have, where you can go in and repair them and change out components, and you've got to deal with things like coolant for your life support and all that sort of stuff on that level with fire and everything else. Not done yet. Being created specially for this. You know, procedural mission systems in the way that we have, dynamic events in the way that it's doing them. They're all brand new systems, and this is why it's taking forever. So yeah, you know, this whole, you know, it's sticking to a schedule. No, it's sticking till when it's done and it's ready to be released. And I really, really hope Bethesda are on point with their release of Starfield. I hope that the delays they've given it are enough to get it to do what we want it to do. But yeah, looking forward to Starfield. Then Stalker 2 will be coming. Cool. I haven't played any of the Stalker games, Oracle, so if they're recommended, then I might well give them a whack when I get a chance. Yeah, I get people kind of being a little bit worried about Bethesda, but you know, I think in the same way that games like studios like Blizzard can go from the darlings of the games community, especially after Activision got their hands in, you know, their fingers into them and claws into them, to go to being the bad guys. I think we need to give studios a chance to go the other way. So once you recognise that they've got real problems, is to give them a chance to rectify it, and that's what Hello Games did. You know, when No Man's Sky came out, it was awful, and now it's got more players than shortly after release, and you know, they've really gone a long way to fixing that game. So yeah, give them a chance. Let's see what happens, and you know, well, I say give them a chance. I'm not forcing you to do anything. If you want to give them a chance, give them a chance, and if you don't, then nobody's forcing you to. But I'm going to give them a chance, and if I don't like it, I'll knock it on the head, and that'll be that. But yeah, don't remind me about Activision. Yeah. About who? Sorry, I don't know what you're talking about. Pre-order Starfield comes. Oh God, here we go. Oh, is it honestly only available in the US? I didn't go through this the last time. Why is it taking me through this now? That's rubbish. Wow. Boo. So no then. Okay, so we did that one. That one was just me trying to find it, so we've done that. We've done that one. We've done that one. And we've done that one. Cool. Let's go and have a look over here. So. Yeah, if ever there was a game coming out that kind of made the argument for waiting for the reviews rather than just going and buying it in advance, I would suggest Starfield's probably one of them. So, Francisco Martin says the release date is Citizecon 2024. That way all the irrational hype for Starfield main quests and side quests are done, then Squadron 42 is the alternative. They have to earn it, no $20 for blue anymore. No, absolutely. I still enjoy testing Star Citizen. This latest patch has been amazing for me and will be interesting to hear about more Squadron 42 at Citizecon. Yeah, if that's the way it goes. So we've discussed it, and just to recap for the people that have just joined us, is that a couple of things have made me think this. Citizencon's now a 2-day event rather than 1 day. That could be because they've decided they don't want to have panels running at the same time, so they're just going to do what they did for 2019, but over 2 days. That could be because they'll have a day dedicated to PU and then a day dedicated to Squadron 42. The two things that I think support that, one is the location. LA, they've never had it there before, and if you're going to do a premiere of a game, LA is not a bad place to have it. And two is that we've had no real significant ship releases at all, and we're halfway through the year, over halfway through the year now. So, interesting. But yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting. But yeah, that's why I think there might be an increased chance. If you'd asked me at the beginning of the year, I would have said no, absolutely not. But yeah. Pilgrim says, had some real fun in Star Citizen this week. With 12 people, we went salvaging with 4 vultures and a cat. So just transferring all your salvage to the cat. Cat goes off and sells it, I assume. But yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. Always wait until after release. Yeah, see, Notorious, I can't always say that I'm able to stick to that. Mainly because with games like Total War and Total War Warhammer, that franchise, that part of the franchise, I got the collector's editions ordered well before they came out. And was vindicated, and then really upset when they didn't do one for Total War Warhammer 3. It was like the first time I was going to have the set of collector's editions for the entire game. Gutted. Didn't happen. Just so angry. And basically their excuse was, oh, it was COVID, so we didn't do it. But yeah. How long does 1 day go? 9 hours. Sorry, Knuckles, I'm not quite sure what you mean there, buddy. Just explain that one for me.
This is a problem, I think, that the whole community needs to be aware of, and something that maybe we can help
I'm talking in the background, and I shouldn't be. Why am I talking in the background? That was weird. I've obviously got, in and amongst my music library, I've got one clip of me voiceovering something. Bizarre. Oh, I see what you mean. Right. Yes, sorry. I tell you what. I got props. 2 seconds. I'll see what I can find. Bear with me just a moment. Muted. God damn it. Do you know what? Pro. I am just so pro at this. I give up. What I was trying to say... Ugh. I know. Yeah. Do you know what? That was going so well as well. I just felt like we were all connected. There was lots of people talking. And then all of a sudden, all you get is... And those are the winning lottery numbers for this week. And I'm not saying them again. Yeah. Right, so what I was going to say is this is the Citizencon brochure from Citizencon 2949, which was the last physical Citizencon that they did, with signatures and everything else. Yes, CR's is on there. I even got Disco, because he obviously loves the Carrick, to sign it where he says Disco says Carrick stinks. Disco, you naughty boy. But yeah, so I'm just going to see if it's got the timetable in here. It may have, it may not. But just to show you how long they've been teasing us, this is from 2019, and they've got a pyro travel warning in there. How long can you tease us, CIG? It's just... But yeah. So, it doesn't actually have it in here. But yeah, from my... And a couple of things, I think... Erical, you were there, right? I think it started at about lunchtime. And then went through till about 9 o'clock. It was supposed to go through till about 9 o'clock at night, and then they just kept overrunning. So if you watch the videos back and you watch Tony Zarevek's Quanta presentation, there's a bit where they come out and say, you need to hurry up, you need to finish. And Tony just looks at us and goes, should I hurry up? And I don't know what you felt about that, Erical, but sat in the audience. If they'd forced him off stage, I would have rioted. I would have full on just gone mental, started throwing chairs and all sorts. Because what he was talking about was phenomenal. It was, for the first time, being able to see how it was all going to fit together. But yeah, it's about 9 hours. And what they had was it's like the adventure begins, and then, which is the opening, and then the adventure continues, the bit at the end. And they were the only bits on. But after that, you had a choice, and it was two halls. And then it's kind of cool to see how many people were there. That's awesome. Yeah, it's awesome. Well, I tell you what, next time we do a Citizencon here or across the water in France, or sorry, Germany, we'll have to do a meetup. We'll have to get all the content creators together and just do this huge meetup. Because I think if the next time it's here, Algrid and X are going to come and stay here, and we're all going to travel up together, which would be really cool because it reduces the cost for them a lot. And then we'll travel up together. So just look for Old Man Hurston and Execute, and look for the better beard next to the two of them. But yeah. So it was about 9 hours. There were times when you had things on, like they were talking about armor in one room, and they were talking about prisons, I think, in another. They did the cosplay thing, which was actually, I know people are like, cosplay, because that's exactly what I felt like when I went to Citizencon. And then I actually watched the cosplay thing, and it was brilliant. Loads of fun. I forget the guy's name. He does a lot of the character concept stuff, but he was just so funny. And to see the effort some people have put into their kit was just chef's kiss. Yeah, really, really cool. But yeah, just cool. Yeah, gutted that I can't make it this year. But I just, like I said, that's how much I didn't believe that Squadron 42 was coming this year, as I didn't even consider it that I had to put down, money to be there. I just thought it was going to come later. So as I always do, backed myself to the hilt and just went, nah, it's not happening this year. Not going to Citizencon, it's ridiculous. Sorry if you can hear noise. I've just spilt a little bit of drink on the base of the microphone. So give me 2 seconds. I'm just going to wipe that off where it doesn't sound like I'm doing something illicit, because all you can hear is out of sight. I'm going to clean that off and then I'll come back and talk to you. That's the most horrific thing you'll see on YouTube this week. Okay, so, anyway. Yeah, there you go, yeah. Well, you say only 199, so I had a look at this, right? Let's go and have a look, shall we? Let's just go and have a look at... So if we go flights, London to LA, this is how recently I've done it. Okay, so cheap flights London. Let's go Skyscanner. Let's do this. Whatever. Return. Doink, doink. London any. No, it's that weekend we want to be out. So if we go Wednesday to Wednesday, seems to be pretty good for that sort of stuff. So we go... No, we don't want to do... Jesus, don't want to go for that long. That'll do. So Wednesday, 1 adult economy... Direct flights only, nearby airports. I don't know. Do we do nearby airports? Is that the thing? Yeah. That's Ashra. You are exactly where I'm going with this, dude. Yeah, lots and lots of money. So we search for flights. So let's have a look. And obviously this will take a while, but what you'll find is this is without baggage yet. So your bags are going to be 100 quid on top of this, and then there's going to be service fees and everything else. So you bump this up to about 600 quid. So with the premium, you're now at 900 quid. And we haven't even looked at accommodation or costs yet. But okay, let's have a look at, I don't know, let's take the cheapest. What do they say? 348. So that one by Norse, whoever they are. Let's go with that one. I would go in the low to mid 4, I reckon. So I don't know. What do you reckon? That one? Let's do lastminute.com. Let's see how we're going. No, I'm not putting my credit card details in, you monsters. Landing fees, hangar fees, yeah, exactly that. Quantum interdiction fees, just, yeah. So, I mean, I don't even know, what am I looking at here? So, go flexible. Airlines fees for date or time change. Well, I mean, I don't need to go flexible. Priority assistance, no thanks. Non-refundable cancellation costs. Our fees for post-sale changes, £35. Well, quantum fuel, yeah, that's pretty expensive. Yeah, absolutely. Your refining fees on your hydrogen fuel. Let's go classic, because no thank you. So, oh, no, I don't want to do... There you go, no bag. So there you go. So now you actually want something like that for a week, especially if I'm taking stuff to be able to... Because this is the other thing as well. Maybe what we want to do is maybe we want to change the dates again. And maybe what I want to do is go out a little bit beforehand and then try and come back on the Monday. Because the challenge for me, of course, as a content creator, is if they do all that stuff that weekend... I don't take anything with me. I don't have a laptop or anything that's going to be powerful enough to process anything out there. So I'm going to have to wait till I get back with it all. So if I come back on the Wednesday, I'm already 3 days behind everyone else. And you know there will be some absolutely tryhards out there who are going to post some stuff on Saturday night rather than be social and go out and meet people. Ugh, it's just, yeah, that's it. See if I can stow away on the Queen Elizabeth. She'll take me over, right? But yeah, so it's not possible. It's just not possible at all. So yeah, unfortunately. So one of the things that, let's have a look at, just while we're here. So one of the things that I was thinking about whilst prepping for this show was that, okay, so they haven't done major releases. Now, how's this going to affect their bottom line? If they have sorry, I'm knocking stuff around again. If they're going to have let's say, a reasonable Invictus, nothing too fancy, then what's the rest of it going to look like? So we can kind of figure that out from here. Okay, so we know at the moment they've got just under 8, just over 4. So you've got 12 million here, plus another 8, so 20 million, plus another, I don't know, 6, should we call that? 26, and then just under, so 26, 36, 45 mil. Okay, 46 mil, something like that. Okay, and then they've got whatever goes on this month as well, because this is only up till March. Till May. So we're on track for, let's take their lowest month again, and it won't be that because alien ships are on sale, but let's take another 4 mil. So let's give them conservatively 50 mil for the first part of this year. What you do is you come over, if you go to cloudimperiumgames.com, go to latest, go to their news, and the very first thing you'll find is the financials. And this is where, when you get those knuckleheads that go, yeah, but they've already taken 500 million. Yeah, they have. You're right. But this is where you come and dispute all this. Yeah, they're just sailing around on personal yachts and stuff. Because what you do is you look at the money in, and then you look at the money out, and you see how similar they are to each other. And you realise there isn't pots of money flying around everywhere, unfortunately. So, what we can see here, unfortunately, because obviously the up to 2021, because of the reporting times, so this is financial year ending 2021, I believe. So April 2021. So we're waiting for April 2022. April 2023, obviously, is literally only just passed. So at the end of this year, we'll get the next set of financials, which will be year ending 2022. So we're 2 years behind, is what I'm trying to say. But we can see that 2 years ago, we were at 100 mil in costs. And it breaks it down here. And basically, if you can't read this stuff, because it's not the clearest, the bottom section is salaries, other dev costs, contracted dev costs, i.e. like the studio in Canada in Montreal before they amalgamated them. Then you've got publishing and marketing costs. Then you've got CNA, whatever that is. And then you've got right at the top, CAPEX costs, which is broken down up here, I think. So, G&A, general and admin, and then one is CAPEX and investments, which is, I think, currency exchange and investment. So obviously, as you transfer money around, you lose some to currency exchanges. So that's all calculated. And what you can see here is right off the bat, half of the costs. So of the 100 million they spent in 2021, 51 million of that was salaries. Okay. So in the US it was 17 mil, UK 33 mil. The rest of the world 33 mil. And they actually do as well show you a staff breakdown in here. So your headcount analysis is the darkest is development staff, the middle color is publishing, ops, community events, and marketing. Macho, thank you very much for joining us, mate. Really appreciate you popping in, dude. Good to see you. Try not to pre-order. Words to live by, my friend. You take it easy, mate. Be good. Yeah, and then you've got your general and admin staff, which is the lighter colour. So you can see here, even in 2021, 748 staff, of which 545 of them are developers. All right. So when they keep making these ridiculous comparisons with other games, like Red Dead 2 and the cost that it made to put that together and blah, 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 Rockstar have a studio of about 600 people whose entire job it is to maintain and advance their game engine. So when they say, oh, Red Dead only cost 200 and something million to make, they're not being accurate, because that studio of 600 people is not included in that. They are maintaining a gamer engine, and that's their entire job. So whether that game engine is then spun off to be Grand Theft Auto 6, or whether it's spun off to be Red Dead 2, Red Dead 3, whatever, that game engine, that studio of 600 people, I forget which one it is, I can't remember, they've got a bunch of studios, is maintaining that every day of every month of every year, and that cost is not factored in. So when people go, oh yeah, you know, oh my god, it's been in development since 2012. Yes, with 10 developers who were working out of a basement at that point, so they didn't even have an office. So when they go, no, well, where did the money go? Well, offices for a start. You know, they opened offices around the world, and that's where this huge cost here came in. 76 million of it was paying, 76 people, from the 9 in 2013, there were 76 in 2014, rest of the world. So where did the money go? Well, opening offices, support staff, linking, all that sort of stuff. So there's plenty of stuff there. And you can see right off the bat, there are 76 vacancies on the website, and not all of those vacancies are single vacancies. So though there might be character artists, and there might be an advert for 4 of them. So they really are recruiting hard. I'm not entirely sure the point that I'm making over and above, like, all these ridiculous comparisons are just that, ridiculous comparisons. It's like, let's take an established game studio and then compare it to a studio that started off with 10 people working out of Chris Roberts' basement, and then pretend they're doing the same thing and that they should get games out in the same length of time. It's a little bit silly at points. It just doesn't make sense. But when people say to you now, well, you know, it's going under because they don't have the money and blah, 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 it's not true. You know, they are probably under where they want to be at this point in time. Because, I mean, just looking roughly, you've got, what, an increase of 14, 10, 20. So even if you say 15, an increase of 15 million, or 20 million, let's say, to now 120 million, they want to be at the 60 mil stage, obviously, this point in the year, and they're not. They're probably more around 54, 55, I would imagine. I don't know, they might have had an amazing Alien week and people might have gone ham on that because they had nothing else to buy. But I don't know. I just kind of like looking through these sorts of things because this is how I started applying for jobs when I went from the military into the commercial world. And there's lots of bits and pieces in here that kind of explain where the money is going. You know, but yeah, I mean, they spent, they had received 100 million 796. they spent 100 million 447. So of that 100 million, they've got a float of just over $300,000. It's not exactly as impressive as people would make out. Oh, well, they've got over $500 million. Yeah, they have, but it's not as simple as that. But yeah. It's always an interesting look, I think, because it lets us know where our money's going. Dun, dun, dun. I like the really creepy dude just... But yeah. Yeah, which is interesting, isn't it, Pilgrim? If they'd sold a big concept ship, they would easily made a lot more. Interesting, so why didn't they? Because the beautiful thing about concept ship is all you need is concept art. You need concept art and very basic stats as to what that ship's going to do. So why not? To me, it indicates, they could have done that with Alien, absolutely. With Alien Week, after realising that Invictus wasn't going to be what they thought it was going to be. That Fleet Week, Fleet Week wasn't going to be what they thought it was going to be. So does it indicate a lack of planning or a lack of panic on CIG's part? Don't know. I'm guessing planning, because they could do any one of a number of things to rush stuff out and sell it to us, because concept ships don't need anywhere near the level of work that it does to bring something into reality. And like you've said, selling something big, a large, whatever it is, would have... you could even have done modules for some of the ships that have got modules. You could have sold modules for the Caterpillar and the Redeemer and the Retaliator and everything else that's got modularity attached to it. We could have done Titan suits. Jesus, can you imagine the amount of money they'd make on Titan suits? You sell Titan suits for $25, $30 a whack. And they do that as an initial. Is Squadron still missing from the store? Do you know what, sir? That's a very good idea. Let's go and find out now. Pledge store. Game packages. Scream if you see it. I don't know whether they make you add it to an existing game package. So let's... Are you going to let me add it? Add the Nightbreak paint? Nope. Remove voting, confirm. PQ Knuckles says, Badger, was this kind of underwhelming for you for Invictus and Alien Week? Yeah. There's no other way to put it. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was pretty underwhelming. I just want ships that kind of spark the imagination. And I love the Fury and its deployability. And I love the Fury MX, the other one with the blast canopy. I really think that's cool. Tumblestorm, can absolutely see a reason for that. Lynx, yeah, great. Like it again. I've got no problems with the design. It's more of the same. An Alien Week, Alien Week, Execute. When we did, the Info Runners did their Alien Week video, we did our video in like 20 minutes, I think it was, and that was just, he went, that went really quick, and I was like, yeah, because we've done the same show 3 years running now. We did This Is What's Available, and then last year we did the same, and then this year we've done the same again. So it's not great. No, I agree, Asher, I can't find it either. It doesn't seem to be that at all. So it doesn't seem to exist, unfortunately, but, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, no, Knuckles, no, you're not, mate. No, absolutely not. And I think, and the other thing is just because, so Edison, Trent, and I talk about this quite a bit, is that just because other people are hyped about something, you don't have to be. So, when the Carrack came out, much hype, because that was Citizencon again, wasn't it? That was they had the base turned way up. It was the first thing they showed us was the Carrack commercial, and the walls were vibrating with that commercial. Seriously, and the cheer when that thing pops out of the smoke, the cheer that went up is just something else entirely. Sorry. Was something else. It was loud, it was raucous, it was brilliant. But just because everyone else likes the Carrack, you don't have to. So, it's perfectly legit to find it underwhelming even when everyone else is ranting and raving about it. I think as long as you kind of qualify that with, hey, there's loads going on, it just doesn't interest me. But I think the problem is this year is there isn't loads going on. We got Snub Fighter, we got 2 ground vehicles, both of which arguably already have a vehicle performing that role, or a role very, very similar. Nova for the Storm, Rover, and any of the other vehicles for the Lynx. Certainly Ursa in terms of being hermetically sealed. And the Snub Fighter, well, there's the Merlin, there's the Archimedes. They might not be quite as fighty as that thing, but they're snubs in exactly the same way. So yeah, I'm right there with you. But yeah, it's unfortunate. Erical says, I have to be honest, when I saw the storm, I had a brain freeze. When it came to, my wallet was in my hand and I had a storm in my hand. Dude, that happens. It's just that thing. But yeah. Yeah, and you know what, Hollington, Ashra, this is the other part, is Squadron 42 packages are missing. It's another thing that goes in the column of maybe we do get something Squadron 42 related this year. Because, and I think this is a good time to talk about it, I think it's unlikely that 4.0 comes anywhere near us this year. Just because 318 has been such a technical challenge. I don't think, until they sorted 318 out, you just can't do anything meaningful to 4.0 or to a lot of it, because the base tech, you don't even know what you're programming on. There's no foundation to build on. Or if there is, so much of that foundation is likely to change that you're just duplicating work, and it's better to put those engineers on solving the problem than it is on doing a bunch of work where maybe only 25-50% of it survives whatever fixes you've got to do to 318 and pairs to fix the problem. So yeah, but I'm not doing this to be negative. I'm not. I'm just as an observation thing. I would be very surprised and pleasantly surprised. I'd be really happy if 4.0 came this year. We'll see a lot more of it, I'm sure. We'll see a lot more of the, I'm really looking forward to seeing some of Ruin Station, because that place is gargantuan. Also looking forward to, hopefully they show us a couple of locations that don't exist in Stanton. And, kind of the sorts of landmarks that people are going to go and want to look at. Things like the Crash Javelin that we have in Stanton. But, maybe there's some sort of ruins not of human origin. That'd be cool. And just have this. It doesn't matter whether they've got a story for it. For now, we don't know anything about them. The Banu don't claim them, the Cathak don't claim them, the Xi'an, the Tavaran, the Vandal, it's nothing to do with any of them. there's just this alien thing that pops up in random systems, and we know of it, and that's it. But yeah. Yeah, they commented on it being due to a price hike, Squadron packages being taken off. Well, I mean, again, I know a lot of this now is subject to confirmation bias, but why does CIG put their prices up generally? Think about ships, because they've gone to flight ready, i.e. we can use them. I don't know. At the moment, they announced around 193 ships and vehicles. 147 are in the game, with 46 still in concept. With not selling new concepts and probably a main focus on Squadron 42, they don't want to increase the backlog. I think they missed a sale. Mount Stunner says, I think they missed a sales opportunity with Alien Week to offer some alien ship packages with Squadron 42 since they've taken off the store. Yeah, absolutely. Erical says, Carrack is a great ship, just not for me. Melted, bought a CCU for the concept Odyssey, but the 600 Explorer changes make me giddy. Absolutely. Artifacts is one of the big gameplay bits that I'm looking forward to. I just want to be a guy with a handgun, leather jacket, and a few connections. The scoundrel gameplay loop. Yeah, absolutely. And I've said before, and I'm sure you guys have been here when I've said it, the idea of being able to do something like what's the phrase I'm looking for? The Serenity Firefly. I'm not going to be openly illegal, but I'm going to break the rules, and do that operating strictly in the grey sort of thing. And as long as I don't get caught, nobody knows I've committed a crime. It's like the very first episode they did, the salvaging an old ship. They're getting like some sort of cargo out of it, and an Imperial cruiser comes past, or the Authority cruiser. It's not Imperial, but the Authority cruiser comes up, and they activate something called the Crybaby, which is like a distress signal that they go and change, and it's literally just an oil drum in space that's got Crybaby written down the side of it, and it's transmitting. That was cool. That sort of stuff. It is just, because there's no crime. It's kind of illegal salvage, but you don't know who's got it. So it's like, hey, if the goods turn up. But they're not actively looking for you. They're actively looking for the goods. That sort of operate in the grey. I like that that idea. I think that's really cool. And hopefully Star Citizen do the same thing, where you see where it lists like different commodities that are illegal, that you can sit down and go, okay, I want to get this stuff from A to B, but I'm going to do it through systems where it is legal. So the idea is that they're trying to choke it out of this system by making it illegal in the neighbouring systems, but I'm going to sneak it in, and hopefully not get caught with it. That sort of stuff, cool, great. Because unless you get caught with it, no one's coming after you. So, but yeah. I can't wait for being able to wear jackets, hats with over the suits. Oh my god. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just going to flash back to Starfield. Space cowboys. Serenity again. Firefly. Just yeah. That doesn't go well for you, less I conjure it does. Just Mal, and every line he's got in that entire film. Including my favourite, when it opens up and River is revealed in the stasis pod in his cargo hold, and his immortal, incredibly well thought out line of, huh. Just perfect. But yeah, Carrack got turned into a Nautilus. Wow, that's quite a sideways step. We were talking about the Nautilus today. Actually, we've got two on Info Runners. We've got 2 episodes of Command and Control, where SA and SA's Army, and obviously I'm Navy, so we get together and put some fleets together, and then X has a go as well, bless him. And yeah, no, he did quite well this time round. Put together a really punchy fleet with a Nautilus in it. So yeah, go and have a look at that when it launches. Cool. Yeah, lots of good fun. So a question for you then. is that my kind of, what's the phrase that I'm looking for? My sort of schedule is clearing a little, which is nice. But it means I'm going to be able to do more content for this sort of stuff. And here's what I'm thinking, and let me know what you think in with it as well. Is that I want to do some content for the new guys. So I want to do some intro content. I want to do some guides for those that aren't sure what they're doing, because that's a great way to get them in and talking. And I appreciate that might not be exactly what you guys are after, because we've been here a while, right? You don't go to the info runners or to people who have military experience and talk about the game because you want to do the basic intro level stuff. You're looking at quite deep diving, and I get that, and I don't want to lose that, and that's still going to be the main focus of the channel. Star Citizen and other games with a real world maritime warfare slant on it. That's what I want to do. But I am looking at maybe including another couple of games in that. I guarantee you guys it's not a pivot away from my current content. That's not, when you do get content, it's not a pivot away from that. It would be things like, and some of you were here when I last did it, Hell Let Loose, to show you the vehicle gameplay, because God, I love the vehicle gameplay in that. And that is so incredibly satisfying when you pull it off, like nothing else. So that would be good fun to show you guys. I know a couple of people have said things like Nebulous Fleet Command. I'm sure a couple of people will want to look at Starfield a little bit more closely. I'm happy to go back and look at things like Elite Dangerous and Eve, because they are sat in my games library. I've just never really got around to giving them a go. And I want to kind of start to niche down into that stuff and have more of these kind of comments with you guys. And then the shorts that I'll do will just be literally anything that comes to mind, and having that go. But this honest chat, this dialogue here, this is what I want to keep. So maybe we continue to do the live streams, do the videos and stuff, but also I want you guys to know that the Discord that's linked down in the description, come in. If I'm in a channel that you've got access to, it's because I'm more than happy for you to pop in, have a chat, say what you want. I've had people literally just message me out of the blue. People I've got no idea who they are. I've got my Perseus. It's like, yes, I'm Perseus hype. Woo! But that's why we're here, right? It's to build a community around the game, and hopefully I've got something to show you with the warfare stuff from my background. So that's my plan for the time being, that I'm going to start releasing a little bit more, try to get a little bit more regular and current with it, as much as I can, and hopefully that'll be that sort of will be enough for us to start building a community and more of a community, and go forward from that. And then hopefully my plan for this channel is, this is never going to become my income, basically because I'm not consistent enough, and it all looks a little bit too much like hard work to get to the point where Space Tomato and Morphologists are obviously making money off their channel as their income. Aidan McKee, sorry, fireside chat, dude. Welcome. We're just talking about plans for my content moving forward, dude. So, your chance to have your input, have your say, whatever you fancy in comments. I don't get angry. I don't ban people or anything like that. So, by all means, whatever you think I can bring content that you would like to see either more of, or you'd like to see me have a go at, that's fine. But yeah, what's that? Yeah. JP Fappy says they throw it in our faces, all the NPCs at Area 18 in a cap and spacesuit, which they shouldn't have, as you pass where the ASOPs used to be but aren't anymore. Yeah, that. But yeah, absolutely. And what I'd like to do is get the channel to the point where, with the income from ads and everything else, that I'm able to get myself to Citizencon every year, and that it does the large part of funding for that, which, you know, there's some work. There's a lot of work to get me to where I am from now to that. Trust me, it's a bit of a gap to bridge, but that's where I'd like to get, and then hopefully, you know, not just to bring you guys content, but to get closer to hopefully where most of you are. I realize it doesn't work for everyone, but to get closer to where most of you guys are, come and meet you in person, go and have a beer, a cider, a non-alcoholic beverage for those that don't partake, whatever it is, but meet up and chat about games. Yeah. But yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Notorious. By all means, you should do, my friend. And the best thing that you can do, I promise, because I've not managed to do this, and I should have done. It's one of my big regrets from being in the service, full stop, is I have very few photos and video, because at the time I was like, yeah, I'm going to live it in the moment, and now that I'm out, I have very little of that evidence left with me. I've got various bits of evidence kicking around. There's a sword over there somewhere. I've got pictures of myself on board and all that sort of stuff, but nowhere near like I wanted to get videos of replenishment at sea and stuff like that. Nothing. And you know, all those serials that people that in the Navy you take for granted, and then you try and explain it to other people, and they go, "You do what now? That doesn't sound very safe." And you're like, "Oh no, looking back at it, that's probably not very safe, is it?" But yeah, I think that's the best thing you can do. If you can, you'll have to get the content approved by your onboard press officer. But as long as you're not picking up so much of what we do is like unclassified or, you know, just in the public domain anyway, that you can have a go. Pilgrim, funny you should mention that. Lost Fleet, I've just had recommended by a friend. Doug, a mate of mine back where I used to live, has recommended that very book series. So yes, it's on. Once I finish reading or rereading Name of the Wind and the Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss, Lost Fleet is on the first. If you could drop me the name of the first book, because I forgot what he said, but if you could drop me the first book in the series, that would be great. Yeah, I doubt they will ever have a sitcom in Australia. Well, Shinobi, what's really interesting is, for a while I was looking at taking a job down in the Antarctic, and as part of that, I would have found a way to come and visit Execute over in Tassie. So if that ever happens and I come and visit the Info Runners boys, we'll put something up and we'll go and infest the corner of a bar somewhere. And I realise that in Australia that's still not an easy thing, because you have a continent-sized country, but it's sure as hell better than getting to the UK. So I'll let you know if that ever happens. We'll go and do that. But yeah, I want to get Algrid very, very drunk just to see what he does. Algrid, ignore that. Ignore that I ever said that. But yeah. So that's great stuff. Okie dokie. X4 from Ashra Katana. Do you know what? I think I've definitely got X3. I think is it X3 Prelude and X3 something. I haven't played X4. That's probably a good, because it's like or is it Hard Space Shipbreakers and all that sort of stuff that I haven't. Oxygen Required. But yeah, I'll have a look at that. Book 1, Dauntless. Thank you, Pilgrim. I shall get that one ordered so that there's no gap. I can continue reading without staring at the ceiling for a couple of nights while I wait for stuff to turn up. Great stuff. Awesome. Okie dokie. Oh, sorry. Ashra. Yeah, I asked you to partake in my Fix My Fleet, but you weren't available back then. Okay, so this is a really good moment to talk about this. I don't talk about other people's money. Ever. It's why you won't find me in buyer's guides. It's why I have a video on my channel saying why I don't do buyer's guides. And it's why I don't do Fix My Fleets. Because for me, once it's in a game, the only question is, can you afford it without putting yourself on the street? Because if the answer to that is yes, if you want it, go buy it. right? And I completely understand that there are people who are going to get to ships much cheaper by doing CCUs. Love it. Fantastic. But Algrid, Execute, Lemming, all that lot, poor old Can, right? One of the moderators, he took me through my fleet to CCU me to get towards where I wanted to go. That boy had the fight of his life trying to get me to do that stuff. The poor bloke. It was, I could hear him at times just going, slamming his head against the desk because I'm just crap at that. So there are better people. But just because I took to the internet and I got myself a camera and a microphone doesn't mean I get to tell you what the fuck to do with your money. Ever. So I don't want to be part of that. It's great that people are. I'm casting no dispersions against people that do that. But I'm so... yeah, absolutely. Look, Ashra, if you want to talk about fleet composition and what goes in it from a tactics point of view and ships, I will talk about that with you till the cows come home. Make sure you do the Discordy thing, and then we'll find a time to do that, and I will talk to you for as long as you want about that sort of stuff. But I don't like getting involved where it's money, because I know sometimes, like, you know, I know X just lost his shit when he found out that I'd upgraded an Arrow to a Sabre directly because I wanted to fly a Sabre. But that's my attitude to games, is I want it, I'm buying it. I can't be faffed to do everything else, so I'm just going to go get that ship. And X, as you could imagine, properly lost his shit. And I just can't. I can't get that excited about it. I want it. I want to play with that ship. I'm going to go buy that ship. You can't tell me I can't buy that ship. So that. And it's the same, you know, people will, the Perseus, you look at the Perseus versus the Polaris, because this is the one X says to me all the time, it's like, there's so much more with the Polaris. It's like, but I can't help wanting the Perseus. I just cannot help. And that's what happened. I ended up with the Perseus, and I'm not changing that ship for love nor money. I don't care until I get it. If I get it and I don't like it, I'll change it to something else. But that's the only way I'm changing it. I don't care whether it becomes the most expensive ship in the game for what it does and massively overpriced. I wanted it. I'm owning it. And money and value and, you know, well, yeah, but there's so much more value. It's a computer game. If we were worried about value, we wouldn't be playing computer games. We'd be out earning money, wouldn't we? But yeah. There you go. My wife would rather have me buy a spaceship than spend all your nights at the pub. Pilgrim, that is what is known in the trade as a keeper. Keep hold of her. Don't let that woman go. She's special, mate. Nice. The only ones I really worry about CCUing are the ones that I want but are overpriced, like the Prowler. Yeah, do you know what? That's when money gets in. I say exactly the same about the same ship, Prowler. Really, really want it, gonna earn it in game because $400 is just. And how did I decide that the Prowler's not worth $400, but the and I know I got it for less than this, but I wanted the Perseus at 675 or whatever it was. Don't know. No logic, and that's why logic doesn't kind of go with the things. So, yes, I will absolutely help. But I'm not interested in the fix my fleets and that sort of stuff, and I stay away from the money. I'll do first impressions, so like the Storm when that came out. I'll do the first impression stuff, no problem. But you won't catch me in buyer's guides. Just danger, Will Robinson, danger. But yeah, Harrington. That's why I have a Scorpius, even though I could CCU it, but I just love this ship. Yep, absolutely. If you love it, don't let anyone talk you out of it because you'll regret it. Sometimes you want a ship for no other reason than you want it, not because it makes sense, like my Nautilus right now. Mate, absolutely. Yep, if the Nautilus is the ship you want, then by all means. Yeah, I got one as well. Nice. Awesome. Good stuff. Well, do you know what? That's brought us quite nicely up on 11 o'clock, which is the time that I need to go and drag my ass to bed, because I have work in the morning. But it's been really, really good talking with you all. And again, I know it's not gameplay. We still haven't worked those kinks out of the system. I have a feeling until I get a streaming setup, so I get a second PC backing this one up, it's probably not gonna happen streaming gameplay too much for the foreseeable. We have one bug fix left to go, which is the reinstall of Windows on a brand new drive. But that's not going to happen for a little while because I have other priorities. But yeah, hopefully that'll get me back to the point where I can at least stream the game even with frame drops and whatever else. But failing that, I really enjoy this content, just engaging with you guys through chat. Hopefully you feel the same. But yeah, like I said, by all means, drop in Discord. You'll still find me on Info Runners when I can be on there. Although during the summer it's harder to be on their evening streams because we're at daylight savings time, so it's an hour later for me. So I ended up giving it up at about like 1-2 o'clock in the morning, and that's just rough when you've got a day full of instruction the following day. But yeah, absolutely. Yeah, chain to the glaive. Shinobi has a chain to the glaive because that ship is cool. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, that's it. Well, listen, it's been a pleasure chatting with you all. Hopefully catch you again on next Sunday. We'll have some other stuff lined up to talk about, but I feel like this has been better because I kind of planned content earlier on today. So I had it all open in Windows and everything. And then spent half the time talking to you on mute, which was, pro streamer move. But thank you very much for popping on. You've been watching Drinkers with Gaming Problems. Thank you very much for stopping by, and I'll see you soon.